Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Guido, and just want to say thank you so much for checking out the YouTube page today. I really appreciate you stopping by, hanging out with me for a couple of minutes. If you've been around at all whatsoever, you know that I like to do interviews with people from inside of a GTA 5 roleplay community that I'm a part of called the Academy. And the purpose of these is just to meet people that are in the city that we interact with on a regular basis and pull them out of the city and find out who they are in real life. And I have such a blast doing these. I appreciate everybody that jumps on here with me. I actually had to have a really cool conversation with not one person, but two people. I actually just finished it up a few minutes ago, and I couldn't wait to tell you about it. It was with Trooper McDaniels and his wife Kim, or as you may know them as Eric and Stacie. That's how we refer to them inside of the video, because well, that's what their name is. So why not call them by what their real name is? We just had a really good conversation. We talked about their hobbies and their interests. We talked about them being a part of the community, playing the game together. I thought it was a really honest conversation, a very real conversation, great perspective from a woman inside of a role play community. And so I know you're going to love it. I can't wait for you to watch it. Before I get to it though, hey, I want to encourage you, if you are interested in GTA 5 RP, or maybe you're interested in the Academy, come check it out. There's a link that just popped up at the bottom of your screen. It's also in the description of this video. Go to the link. Check out the website. Check out the mission. What you're going to find is it's much more than a game that you're getting involved in. It's a community. It's family. It's a place to belong. And so we'd love to have you if that's something that you're interested in. And man, let me know if you do that. If you stop by the page, let me know that you do that. Leave it in a comment on this video. Speaking of that, while you're here, why don't you hit the thumbs up button for me? Let me know that you're here. Leave your favorite emoji. Tell me what you think about the conversation that we had. Is there anything that made you laugh? Anything that made you think? Anything that made you wanted to do better? Whatever it is, I'd just love to hear from you. If you'll do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you hadn't hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do that as well. All right? Hey, that's enough. I want to get you to the video. I hope that you love it. Thank you again for being here. And now check out this conversation that I have with Eric and Stacie. Yo, what's up, guys?
How we doing? What's up, man?
How are y'all?
Good.
Awesome.
I'm so glad for you guys to be here. I'm super pumped up about this. I told you I had this idea a couple of months ago, and it took me a little bit to reach out to you. But I was like, I want you both to be in a conversation, and let's talk about the city and talk about you guys playing the game and being a part of the community together. And so, man, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for jumping in and hanging out.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
So why don't we do this? Let's do this. Obviously, we know you're Eric and you're Stacie, but let's just start here. Why don't y'all just take a minute, introduce yourself, say what you want to say, about you and what you want anyone to know about your real life. Obviously, we'll talk about the city and all that kind of stuff, but anything you want to know. Stacie, I'll start with you. Why don't you just kind of kick us off and let us know some stuff?
Well, I am 33. We have 2 babies together, and then I have 2 bonus children that are lovely.
All right.
I am a personal trainer by trade, but I'm a stay-at-home mom right now. Kind of an entrepreneur. I have run a bakery from home. I've done lots of fun things. And yeah, I think that sums it up.
Awesome. Very cool. Awesome. All right, Eric. Listen, I'm just going to say this, Eric. I love you. You are my brother. But everything that you do is just going to not be as good as Stacie tonight. I'm just going to go ahead and just set the tone for you. It's nothing but love. It's just the way it goes. If my wife was on here, it'd be the same way.
Bro, I live in the shadows.
I'm used to it.
Man, tell us about you, man. Give us some knowledge, bro.
All right, so I'm Eric, and obviously we live here in East Tennessee. Go Vols.
Okay.
See if we can handle Bama tomorrow.
Man, all right. Just pause for just a second. Let me just say this. I think for the first time in a long time, there is a great shot. And I know there's a lot of hype about it, but I'm not a Bama hater, but I'll be rooting for the Vols tomorrow.
Vols, but Tennessee by 50.
I hear you, man. I'm liking it. Okay, all right. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
All right, so born and raised here. I spent 10 years in the Air Force out of high school.
Awesome.
And I was stationed in Destin, Florida, out at Fort Walton Beach. And so I have come back to Tennessee now. Stacie and I have been married for 12 years now. And so in IRL, I manage a used car dealership.
Okay.
And so I've been doing that for about 5-6 years now. And so that's my personal life. That's really what we do. Obviously, we've got 2 kids that live with us, 9 and 10. They're
Okay.
crazy as can be.
Yep.
And but yeah, other than that, we really, I wish I could say I had hobbies, but the city's really it. I don't have time for anything else.
And that's true for a lot of people. And because it is a really good escape. It is a really good way to meet and connect and those kind of things. So all right, tell me this. So you and I are friends on Facebook with each other. I see where you post about, your car dealership, all that kind of stuff. Man, what's hot right now? Like, if somebody's trying to buy a car, bro, what is hot? Like, what's the jam? What should they be getting into?
I'll be honest with you right now. Any lifted trucks, Jeeps, Mustangs, that's kind of my specialty. 4Runners.
Yeah. You sell some dope rods.
Yeah, we very picky about what we carry. So
Yeah.
we've got some really nice stuff. We hand select it. We go to the auctions. We find the stuff. We drive it. We make sure it's good to go. And we're a small dealership. I'm technically the general manager, but I have one person that works for me, and let him go this morning. So you call me the general manager, the detail guy, the salesman, the finance guy. I do everything. I'm a one-man show now. So, but yeah, right now, man, lifted trucks, Ford trucks, I can't keep them on the lot.
Awesome, man. Very cool. Awesome. Well, good stuff. All right. So let me ask you a couple questions, and we'll take. Well, let me ask this, and I asked you this before. I know the answer, but I think it's fun. So Christy and I, my wife and I, we do a podcast together, and when we do that podcast, I'm at a desk, and we're literally sitting side by side. Now we run 2 cameras, and I try to position them so that we're not like all over each other in their space, but we literally are sitting side by side. How close are y'all right now to each other?
Here,
oh yeah, like
okay, all right, yeah. So you're close, yeah. Okay,
like we can hold hands. We usually face the same direction, but she got so worked up. She spent 2 hours trying to find the right background for this interview, so she actually like turned her desk around 6 times to try to find something that looked good.
Yeah, no, listen, bro. Listen, that's what I was saying. I appreciate that. I appreciate the effort, the thought. She wanted to do it right. You just showed up today, man. You were just like, well, whatever,
Bro, I was watching Survivor until about 15 minutes before this started.
Exactly.
If I do anything, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna research it. I'm gonna know. I'm gonna be prepared.
Yeah. No, that's
how I am.
No, I love that. That's so good. All right. So 2 kids together, 2 additional kids, 4 kids together or all together, and man, how's parent life for you? Is it stressful?
Well, yeah. No. I mean, this is the only thing that I have ever wanted as long as I can remember. I just wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
It was, to have that bond with your kids, to raise your kids, to be a good parent is the most important thing to me. Yeah, it is hard. I mean, it's hard to be a parent, but it's more than worth it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I was speaking at church Sunday, and I said something. I was talking about having kids. I said, kids have the ability to, you love them with all of your heart, but they also drive you crazy. And they make you say things that when you're in your right mind, you don't normally say things like, "I brought you in this world, I'll take you out," that kind of stuff. Things like, "Don't worry about what I'm doing, you do what I'm telling you to do." It's stuff that is not right, but you just say that stuff because they get you to that place. So I've got a 18-year-old and a 13-year-old, and man, the 18-year-old's just like me, and she drives me bonkers. I have truly learned more about how difficult of a person I am with my kid than I have ever in my whole life. It's amazing how that happens. All right, so Stacie, what about you? Hobbies, like if you're not being mom, you're not being wife, not in the city, what are you doing? How are you spending your time?
I think we just really like to play games with the kids. I don't know. Oh, I do nap. I nap a lot.
Right, there you go.
We like to spend time with the kids. We watch a lot of movies. We watched Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
We play What Do You Meme? That game. They love that.
That's a fun game.
Yeah.
I really like that. We got the Office edition when we were on vacation this past summer, and it was a lot of fun. I'd like to get the regular edition. We're big Office fans, so it worked out for us, but I'd like to get the regular edition. That was a really fun game.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Eric, are you good at games? Are you good at What Do You Meme?
I'm good at everything I do. And I want to point out the fact that every hobby that she just listed revolves around her being a mom.
Yeah.
Everything. Watching movies with the kids, except for naps.
Yeah.
But
still relates to being a mom.
But no. And we played in the TikTok edition of What Do You Mean? It's been fun.
Okay, that's a lot of fun. That's really cool. I hadn't seen that one. That would be really good. All right, what shows are y'all watching right now? Like, what are y'all TV people or are you just movie people? Because like Christy and I, we really, for as long as I can remember that we've been married, we've always kind of tried to stay in a show. It's one of those things that we like to do together. It's kind of, we can spend time together. Now that our kids are older, we try to, especially my younger daughter, she likes to watch TV with us. Do y'all have a show that's like your show? I know you said you watch Survivor. That's one of ours. We love that show.
Yeah, so Survivor is more like mine and my daughter's show. Like, we've been binge watching that. But, like, Stacie and I have always been really into shows. Like, we will find something, and we don't like watching, like, every Monday afternoon. We like wait until they're on Netflix so that we can binge watch them and veg out. So, but, like, it goes back to, like, Prison Break and,
Great show.
Some of those old shows that just,
Great show.
We watched 2 seasons in one night, and then I'd go to work dragging.
Hey, Prison Break is probably one of the greatest shows that we've ever watched. It was an excellent show. Really, really good. And you know what's crazy about it is I love it. But I saw a TikTok about it the other day, and I thought, man, I could go back and watch that show again, the whole thing. It was really, really good. I liked it.
For sure. But right now, honestly, I don't think we have a show that we've been watching together. We've not really found a new series that just captivated us.
Okay, all right. So we've been watching. And I say this all the time, but we've been watching She-Hulk. It just came out with its last episode. I hadn't watched it yet. I've heard it ends very badly, but anyway, we'll see what happens. I hadn't got there yet.
If anybody knows how it ends, throw it in chat.
Yeah. Don't listen. Don't do that yet. Well, what's funny is Emma's my younger daughter. She'll watch it and then she'll come back and be like, "It's terrible," but then she'll want to watch it again. I'm like, "Well, you already watched it. Why didn't you just wait till we were going to watch it?"
My kids will always tell you, "Hey, this part, here's what's going to happen."
Nice. Good times. Now, Stacie, are you a Hallmark movie watcher?
I'm not so much into girly shows.
Okay.
I'm really not. I like more like just the Prison Break. We've watched The Lawyer, CSI, NCIS.
Okay. Yeah.
Psych, that kind of thing. I'm not into girly stuff.
Yeah. My wife Christy is very much so into Hallmark movies and that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's not my jam, but she likes it. So I just...
I feel like they're all exactly the same.
They are. All right, I'm going to tell you the plot of every Hallmark movie right now. Here it is. Girl meets a guy. They have a conflict of some sort. It seems like they hate each other. Then they start to really kind of like each other, but they don't want anybody to know. Santa or some kind of mystical power shows up, creates some kind of situation. They're going to have to move or separate forever, and then the last minute they fall in love and get married.
Yeah, I was about to say,
You throw some snow in there and it's a Christmas Hallmark.
Yeah, that's the plot. I mean, Christy would be like, "Oh, they got a new Hallmark movie." I'm like, "You already know what's going to happen. It's the same thing every time."
No, they don't. No, they don't.
I'm like, it's not a new one. It's the same exact thing. All right, so hobbies. Now, obviously, we play this game, GTA 5. Are you gamers? Like, do y'all play games together? I mean, not together, but like, if you didn't do this, are you playing Fortnite? Or are you playing, something else, Sea of Thieves, something else?
Well, when I first started playing any kind of games, he started on GTA and I started on The Sims, which
Okay.
is pretty typical for women, I think.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that it was so predictable.
Okay.
I didn't like that everything was, computer generated.
Right.
And then he started playing GTA, but I mean, we will get into VCs and we'll play Among Us. We'll play. Where's some of those we play?
I wasn't listening to you.
Oh my gosh. You're watching something on TV, aren't you?
Crab games.
Yeah, pretty much.
We'll play all that kind of stuff. But I really like doing that with other people, playing in a community of people. We enjoy just playing games in a community like that.
Yeah, I do too. I very rarely play games by myself. I love to play games like video games and that kind of stuff. But since I have discovered like community and headsets and being able to talk to people, if I'm gonna do it if I'm gonna play by myself, I just don't, because I'd rather just do something else. But I love that dynamic of being able to play. And I keep talking about Christy a lot, but Christy and I actually play Fortnite together. That's the only game she'll play with me. I've tried to get her into GTA. She's not interested at all. But we like the time together, and so that's really cool. And that's why I like this dynamic, because you guys do y'all play together, and I thought that would be just a fun conversation for you both to be able to jump on and us to be able to chat about that. So before we do that, I want to play a game. Okay? Now, you already know what the game is, but I'm just going to kind of set this up for everybody else. I sent you each 10 questions. And here's what the instructions were. I said, I want you to answer for each other. And then when we come on the stream, when we do the conversation, you'll answer for yourself and see how you did. If you could guess what the other person would say. So I sent that to you a little bit earlier today. And were y'all able to get those answered?
Well, I did.
Yes. Wait, did you write down your answer or my answer?
We're supposed to do both. You're supposed to guess.
Okay.
Eric literally just looked at the list. I feel it like right now. He's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, didn't you?
Bro, so
Yeah.
I forced him to prepare. It's okay.
Nice. I like it. Okay, all right, here we go. So that's what we'll do. So I'll ask the first question. Stacie, I'll let you answer first, and then you can tell your answer. We'll see how Eric did, and then Eric, you answer, and then we'll see how Stacie did. All right? And y'all actually took the liberty. Y'all kind of went above and beyond. Y'all made signs, like.
Yep.
So I love it. So
I got this backwards.
So you said newlywed game. I wrote down my answer.
Okay.
So that she could say it out loud, and then I could hold it up to show if it was right.
All right. Well, now you got to just think of what you think she would say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Here we go. First question. Number one, What did you wear on your first date? What did you wear on your first date? So, Eric, you didn't write this down. What do you think Stacie wore on y'all's first date?
So I'm trying to think. I really don't remember our first date.
Okay.
I did this
remember
when the first day we saw each other in Florida.
the first day we
Yeah.
saw each other.
When she basically snuck out of her house, her parents' house,
And drove to Florida
Okay.
to see me.
and I left. I was working at the base. I left the base. I went to meet her, and I think she was wearing a yellow shirt,
Okay.
tank top, and white shorts that she got rid of. I remember the
Okay.
white shorts.
White shorts. That's what she remembered. You did good.
I can close my eyes and still see those white shorts.
Hey, 12 years later, bro. There you go.
Hey,
Stacie, how did he do?
Fantastic.
Yellow
What,
tank
I
top.
mean, I don't know if it was yellow or not. I just knew the shorts.
Okay. All right. What was Eric wearing?
Well, I remember pulling into the parking lot the first time we saw each other, and he was still in his work uniform, which he was at the air base.
Okay.
So he was in his, I don't know what they're called, but like the work uniforms that they would wear. His military uniform.
Okay. All right. Is that what you were wearing? No idea.
No clue.
Why do I feel like you made that sign and you're just gonna hold it up every time? Yeah. No, I like it. I like it. All right, number two. So y'all did good. Except Stacie, you got to help Eric remember what to wear. I mean, my man doesn't. You got to help my guy out. He doesn't even know what he's wearing, which is fine. It's all right. I do remember. I don't remember what I was wearing though. In all fairness, if you ask me that question, I know exactly what Christy was wearing. I cannot say I remember what I was wearing. So I feel you. I can't give you too much of a hard time on that. Okay, number 2. What celebrity are you the biggest fan of? What did Stacie say, Eric?
I'm gonna have to go. It could be one of two choices. It's either what's his name, Channing Tatum,
Okay.
Or the female.
from Lucifer.
Okay. All right. She says no. You're not even close.
I knew you wouldn't get this.
Who are you a biggest fan of? Hold it up. Glennon Doyle.
I don't
She's
even
an
know who
author.
that is.
Oh, an author. Okay.
Yeah, she has a podcast.
I don't know who that is either.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. I love that. What kind of books do they write?
She writes Untamed. It's a lot of self-help, recovery,
Okay.
that type of stuff.
Are you a big reader? Like, do you like to read, or you just specifically like this
I'm
author?
an Audible person. I like Audible.
Me too. We
Yeah.
have we kind of have a loose reading goal at work every year. It's kind of more tallied out of year's pace. Man, I'll blow right through that on Audible because I have a 45-minute drive. I look like I'm awesome. They say it doesn't count, but it does. Audibles count as reading. And then I'll say, yeah, I read that in this book, and they're like, you mean you listened to it? I'm like, yeah, but I still read it. They're like, it doesn't count. So, all right. What about Eric? Who is his favorite celebrity?
So again, he chose 2 and I chose 2 options. I would say either Will Ferrell or Anna Kendrick.
Okay. Anna Kendrick. All right. I like it. Are you surprised that she's dating the guy from SNL? Are you surprised by that at all?
Yeah, cause
Yeah, because I legit thought I had a chance.
Nice. Hey, you win some, you lose some, brother. You know what I mean? Win some, you lose some. All right. Listen, we'll do this one backwards. All right, Eric, for Stacie. Stacie for Eric. What movie could you watch 100 more times with no problem? So I guess answer it. Let's see if the right way to do this. I guess you give your answer, right? And then
I give his answer.
Give his answer. Okay.
Yeah.
But you wrote his answer down.
I think it's the same one.
Okay. All right.
I think it's the same movie.
All right. So
do we want to reveal it at the same time?
Yeah. Just go ahead and do that. That'll be fun.
I don't think it's.
You don't think it is?
No.
Oh.
I don't think it's the same.
All right. What do you think Stacie's is, Eric?
So I'd say the only movie that I'd say there's one, but she won't put it on here. But I would say the other one would be Free Guy.
Free Guy. Okay. There you go.
Your blurry screen. No,
Yeah, Free Guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just watched Free Guy.
I love that movie.
It was really good. I liked it too. I just watched it on an airplane when I went to San Antonio in the summer. So, all right. What would Eric's be?
I was gonna say Free Guy, but if it wasn't Free Guy, it's some sort of Will Ferrell movie.
Okay. No. If you say
No.
Notebook, don't you
No,
ever say Notebook?
It's not The Notebook. This
Okay.
goes back to my favorite celebrity.
Pitch.
Oh my god!
I always wanted to be in an a cappella group.
Oh man, that's funny. Is that a real answer?
That's a real legit answer.
She
So-
hates it when I watch it.
So
Yes.
if it came on, you're just watching that. If it's on TV,
Over
you're flipping
and
to the
over and over. Over.
Is it
Is
on
it
right
on?
now? Because I'm out.
No, it's not on right now. You can stay. You're good. Oh man. All right. Okay. That's really surprising. Pitch Perfect, huh?
What can I say?
All right.
I was trying to be honest. I was like, man, people are gonna make fun of me for this, but I'm gonna be honest.
Hey, I appreciate the authenticity. That is contagious. All right. What's the most listened to song on your playlist? What's Stacie's most listened to song?
I don't even know what
I
Stacie
don't
listens
even think
to.
you would have any idea.
Yeah, no idea what she. Okay, what is it? What is it, Stacie? Flowers by Lauren Spencer Smith. Okay. All right. Sing us a little part of it. Oh, okay. Okay.
It's a really good song.
All right. I've never heard it. I mean, I like music, but I'm not like a big, huge music guy, so it doesn't surprise me that I don't know that. What do you think Eric's is?
I would just say something country.
Okay.
But she's not wrong. It is country.
Morgan Wallen, Cover Me Up. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Very cool. I like that. Are you only country, or is that your main genre?
It depends on the mood. I mean, I like pop. You'll find me at my playlist. You'll see pop music. You'll see everything from like Hillsong to country to
Yeah.
hip hop to rock and roll. I mean, it's all over the place.
How many old Britney Spears songs are on a playlist for you right now? Be honest.
She's got her own playlist, bud.
Heard that. That's heard. That's heard. All right. Number 5. What is the worst purchase that you've ever made? What would Stacie say the worst purchase that she ever made was?
Probably the gas to drive down to Florida to see me. But the worst purchase she ever made?
Yeah.
Mm.
We know that it's not white shorts. That worked
No.
out.
No, those white shorts. So here, funny story. She actually got into. So we were working with this youth group down in Florida,
Okay.
and these little short white shorts. She got all the girls in the youth group together, and they cut up all of their shorty shorts.
So I have never seen those white shorts again.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it was.
There's some people upset about that.
The
The afterthought
once
once
they
they
cut
cut
those shorts up, they were like, "What did I just do?"
Yeah. No, they lost a lot of potential there. I'm just saying.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I don't know. Stacie's super cheap. Like, I don't
Okay.
mean cheap. She's frugal. She's very frugal.
All right.
She manages our money when I let her.
Sometimes I sneak it.
Heard that.
But
That's
yeah,
heard.
so I don't know. I don't think she's really made bad purchases.
All right, Stacie, have you ever made a bad purchase? What would be the worst purchase you ever made?
You're going to agree with me on this.
Crab in a can? Is that a food item?
I got
It's-
the idea that I should buy this crab in a can. I was trying to get more protein. It
Yeah.
felt like it's not.
No,
Don't ever
not the way.
buy crab in a can.
Okay.
Ever.
All right. That's noted. That is noted. I won't do that. I'm trying to think. I ate something out of a can the other day. Christy made something. I was super surprised. I think she pulled chicken out of a can or something the other day and made something with it. And I was almost like, we do that? I didn't even know. I was like, we do that? I didn't even know we did that. So I can't remember what she made, but I was surprised by it. All right, what about Eric? What was the worst purchase he ever made?
I would assume one of the cars that he's bought.
All right, one of the cars? No, he says no. No.
Well, of every car I've ever bought. Okay.
Okay. All right. What was the worst purchase you ever made?
She'll agree. She'll think back and she'll agree. That stupid dog we bought when we were dating in
That
Florida.
was such a bad idea.
We wanted a dog. We'd just gotten together. We had a little condo on the beach, and we
Yeah.
thought we were going to get a dog. So we went to the pet store and bought a dog on credit card. And it was like a $2,500 dog. And after 2 weeks of not being able to potty train it, we sold it for like $50.
$50.
Horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Christy and I got on this thing the other day where we were. Now, do y'all have dogs now? Are y'all dogs?
Yeah.
Oh, you do. I know that y'all do. Y'all were talking about it earlier. So we don't. We have had pets before, but we don't now. We're not pet people. And the other day we got to talking about going and getting a pet. So we decided, let's go to the rescue and just see. Let's just go and see. And so we took my younger daughter, my older daughter was working, and we went out there, and that was all I needed. I had one dog like jumping up on me. He like scratched me. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have a scar for the rest of my life on my leg from where he scratched me. I was like, yeah, I'm done. That did not last very long. So I get it. But if you're pet people though, I know all the pet people are in the chat and are like, what? You didn't take that dog home? He needs love. He needs someone that would love him. I would not love him.
Same way with kids. I mean, if you are not a pet person, if you are not a kid person, don't be. That's
Yeah,
fine.
don't take kids home that you don't love.
Yeah, you just don't have to.
Don't take kids home that aren't yours either. Let's put that out there.
I mean, if you want to complicate it like that, you can. But I was just saying, if you don't love them, you know. Okay, all right, here we go. Number 6 for Stacie. Eric, what's a topic that you think she wished she knew more about? Like in all the topics of the world, what do you think she wishes? Man, I really wish I knew more about this.
There's so many, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and for fear of having something thrown at me, Stacie knows. You hear the people. I know a lot about a little. She knows a little bit about a very, very, very little bit about a lot of things.
Okay.
And so like she doesn't know. Like she got into the city.
I need to know more about everything.
She had no idea. Like we were in a Mustang with Mason.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Is this?" Or I think it was Mason. And she was like, "Is this a Corolla? Is this a Toyota?"
You said.
You asked. Oh no, he told you it was a Corolla. Was that? I think it was Mason, or it may have been Husky. I have no idea, but it was. Yeah, I think cars. She doesn't know anything about cars.
Okay. So
Which makes it hard for us to talk because I deal with them.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Is that your answer? Just everything?
No, cars.
Cars. Yeah, that would be the one topic. Do you want to know more about cars, Stacie? What would be the one topic that you'd want to know more about?
To know nothing more about cars than I already do.
Okay. All right. Put technology. Okay. All right.
Yeah. When we first started playing, I mean, we've basically, rebuilt computers and all these things, learning how to clear cache. We've learned a lot by being in this community, but I do really wish that I knew more about how to function.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm with you. I agree. I think I would I'd like to know more about that too. What about Eric? What would he say? What does he want to know more about?
He doesn't need to know anything. He knows all.
He knows everything.
I'm just kidding.
There you go.
I would say technology too, but maybe not.
Okay. Eric, is there anything that you wish you knew more about? Women.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. We'll be sitting there like hanging out and we'll be like having a great time, like laughing and cutting up. And then I realize that she's mad because somehow I missed some sort of cue that she gave me.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if it's Morse code with the eyelashes or whatever,
Yeah.
but somehow she communicates with me that I don't get.
Yeah, you blew it.
And then I have to answer for something that I didn't do, but I should have done, or I did do and shouldn't have done, and I have no idea that I did it.
Yeah.
And she'll be mad at me for a week over something.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't get it.
No, that's normal. That happens a lot. There's nothing wrong if for you and for anybody else that's maybe watching this. There's nothing wrong at your house. That's just the way life is. You know what I mean? Like that is a completely normal thing.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. So, all right, here we go. Next one. How far has Stacie traveled from home?
Europe. Was it Europe?
Europe. There you go. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. What about Eric? How far did he travel from home?
So, me knowing very little about anything, didn't know which place was farther than the rest. But I would say either Afghanistan, Iraq, Qatar, Guam, one of the places that he was deployed to.
Where he was stationed at. So where's the farthest that you've been? Afghanistan. Awesome, man.
I had to look it up on the map.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. Okay, next one. Farm life or city life? What would Stacie say? Farm life or city life? She a city girl, farm girl?
So I'd say if Stacie had to choose, I think she would choose city.
Okay.
Only because she doesn't like being too far away from the closest Walmart.
Okay.
Or Food City.
Yeah.
But she also doesn't like being in the city. She likes the in between. Like we live in a suburb of Knoxville, so we're like right outside of Knoxville. We're close enough to a small community. But we're close enough to the city to where she can get to anything.
Okay. All right.
Could not answer that better.
Okay. So city, huh? City. Okay. I like it.
And I have a really hard time choosing because I feel like we live in a place where, there is mountains and outdoors and not too crowded, but we are close enough to not be way out in the hills.
Sure.
So I like that.
What about Eric? What does he prefer? City life or farm life?
I think if he had to choose, he would say farm life, although he has always said that he would love to live in a big city.
Okay.
I think it's depending on what day you ask him. But I do think he agrees with we kind of like to be close enough to something, but still enjoy nature.
Okay. Farm life, 100%.
So yes, I've always wanted to have a farm just because I want to drive a tractor around all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, they're fun.
Shirtless. You want to be shirtless on a tractor, don't you?
Did you say you want me?
Yeah, no, not right now. Just that's what you're hoping for on a tractor.
I misread that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
But I have always wanted to live in like a big city like New York for like a year. Not long term, but I just want to experience it. Not like a weekend trip. Like I went there for a weekend when I was in high school and it was fun. But I'd like to actually experience it. Like have a bike, take taxis everywhere, do all that.
Okay. I actually thought about this the other day. I am a city guy through and through. And I used to, when I was a youngster, feel like I wanted to live in like the hustle and bustle of like a New York, something like that. And I think if I were younger, I would have loved it. I still don't want to live on a farm, but I don't want to live in like a big city. I think I like, we live in I would say where we live is a city, but it's not a big city. So I think that's what I prefer, but I wouldn't want to live like on a farm. The worst place we ever lived was like 20 minutes from town. It was the most miserable drive of my life. Every day I'd be like, I hate this crap. It was just a whole thing. So I feel that. All right, here we go. Couple more. Is Stacie a conspiracy theorist? Like, does she get into conspiracies? Like,
so no, but she always has a weird way of looking at things. So I would say that it's a possibility in some situations, but she doesn't jump on like mass hysteria.
Okay. All right. Stacie, what do you agree with that? Are you a conspiracy theorist? Yes.
I just think it's really fun to hear. I just don't jump on the bandwagon. I don't, lose my mind over it. But I just think it's fun to think about.
What is all right? Do you want to share? Would you share your current conspiracy that you're concerned about? Just really briefly. Like, is there a conspiracy right now that you're really kind of like keeping an eye on, trying to find out if it's true?
I think his answer was probably more fair. I'm not concerned about any of them.
Okay, all
I
right.
just will hear people out, and I think that's fun.
Okay, all right. All right. What about Eric? Is he a conspiracy theorist?
I think he's more along the line, kind of in the same way that I am. We'll watch a documentary on something that's a conspiracy theory, but he's not going to lose sleep over it.
Okay.
So I guess you would consider that no.
All right. Eric, are you a conspiracy theorist? No, maybe a little.
So no, I'm not like major like conspiracy theorist. Like I don't think there's these big plots, but I do, and I think of it kind of like in. I've always worked in leadership and management, and I think that just like in a business, the leadership of our country will tell us will hide some things from us
Yep.
because they know that we can't handle it or
Yep.
we'll go crazy or we won't understand it. So I think that there's some things that we get little bits of information just enough to kind of not be completely lying to us, which
Okay.
they probably do that too. But I don't think that there's like mass cover-ups and
Okay.
genocide plans.
I think I'm in y'all's boat. I don't think I'm a conspiracy theorist. Like, I think Elvis died. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's a conspiracy that he's still, or he lived. I think Tupac died. All of those things. But I am interested when I hear things sometimes, and I'm like, that's interesting. And the reason that I put this actually on there is because there was something that I heard recently, and I don't know if it's a conspiracy per se or if it's just gossip, but I'm going to give it to you. Maybe you've heard this. So Tom Brady and Giselle, they're in the gossip is that they're having marriage problems, right? Have y'all heard this at all? No, not at all. So they're potentially going to be getting a divorce. There's some, that is gossip. But here's the conspiracy. The conspiracy, though, is that the reason that he has done well all of these years is because she is a witch and has been doing seances on his behalf. So I just heard that recently, and first I heard it and I was like, that's the dumbest thing. Ganker told me. I said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. But then somebody that is really reliable said, I was telling that to somebody else, and they were like, yo, I heard that too. And so then I was like, wait a second, that's not just Ganker saying stuff. So I don't know. I got myself all worked up.
He said Ganker told me, and then somebody that's reliable told me.
Yeah. Somebody more reliable told me. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, stuff like that's a little too far-fetched for me.
Stacie, do you know who Tom Brady is?
He's football, right?
Yeah.
Football, that's as much as I got. A little bit.
All right, number 10, and this might be the most important question that we've asked all night. It's really important that this is really telling just really the kind of people that you are, I think, in general. Does Stacie like pineapple on pizza?
So Stacie does not like pineapple. She can't eat pineapple, and she can't eat pizza.
Really? That is
I'm
a
allergic
plot
to
twist.
Sugar.
Really? Just all
I can't
sugar?
eat. Yeah, I can't have anything with sugar in it. Not pizza sauce, not spaghetti sauce, not fruit, not juice, none of it.
Man.
Sometimes I'm too sweet for
her. Not often.
There you go. Okay, all right. That's a plot twist. I did not anticipate that, and so that for that reason, you're good. You can stay. You can continue on. What about Eric? Is he a pineapple on pizza kind of guy?
I think that's a no. I think it's a no.
Okay, so hear me out. It's a no, but I don't dislike it. It's just not my first choice. If there's pineapple on a pizza,
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat it. Of course, I'm gonna eat anything on pizza. Like,
Shout
there's
out.
not much I won't eat on a pizza.
Okay.
Of course, I also like. I'm not picky on food. Like, I'll eat whatever's in front of me.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but no, my choice is not gonna be pineapple. But I have been known to eat pineapple on pizza.
Okay. All right. We'll accept that answer. We'll accept that as a okay answer for the time being. But I don't know if you know this, but the official TARP stance is that pineapple should be on pizza. So just wanted to let you know that.
Is this an interview or an interrogation? I'm not sure what this is.
It's kind of both. I mean, we're just trying to figure out, just trying to figure out who people really are. Should they stay in? It's a whole thing. It's a,
Why am I not in the Discord anymore?
Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, thanks for coming on, guys. It was a lot of fun. Speaking of TARP, let's talk about that and kind of how you guys got connected. Eric, you kind of got, I think I'm right here, you kind of got connected first and got involved, and then Stacie kind of got involved. So why don't you kind of talk about how you got connected, and then we'll get Stacie and jump in with her when she kind of enters in, and go from there.
So I was actually watching TikTok one day. I was at work and I saw somebody playing GTA. Now I've seen GTA RP for years, but I just never knew enough about it. I always had like an Xbox and I would download it and couldn't figure out how to do it. So like just never knew. I didn't know how to use the Google machine. So I was trying to figure out how to play it. Well, then I saw this guy and it's in TikTok. So everybody's commenting on how to get in. So I was like, this is what I've been wanting to play. So I went out that day, I bought a computer, and I downloaded that server and just couldn't figure it out. Shout out to Husky and the mentorship program, because that's the reason I'm in TARP, is because I couldn't figure out any other cities. I would just walk around and die of hunger because I didn't know how to buy food.
Yeah.
And so I started there watching TikTok, and then found out what Twitch was. So I started watching Twitch. I actually found some TARP streamers on Twitch and started watching them, and that's where they got me hooked up with the city, and that's where I just kind of jumped in from there, and it's been loads of fun ever since.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I would say loads of fun ever since. There was a time when Stacie comes into play where I stopped playing because I was given an ultimatum that if she was gonna be a parent by herself, she was just gonna be a parent by herself.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? Get rid of the computer. I'm not playing anymore. And I gave it up.
Yeah.
And then one day I said, hey, try this. Like, she was playing SimCity. I was like, it's kind of like Sims, but it's better. And you can interact with people. So that's kind of what you want. And then I'll let her kind of go into her journey from there.
All right. So Stacie, he's on the game. It's driving you bonkers. And let me just say this. That is, I don't know how many people would be willing to admit this, but that's a very common thing. I have had more than one person reach out, and I've had conversations with them about just, hey, I'm wanting to play the game, but my spouse is upset about it. They feel like I'm neglecting the family. I'm wanting to play the game. What do you do? And a lot of times they're like, how you doing? And I'm like, I fuss with my wife too. Like, don't ask your boy, because I have the same conversation. I have the same balance of time. So that's not I'm glad that you said that. I think that's a really cool thing, because that is real. And that is probably more common than some people want to admit, and more real than people want to admit. But I appreciate that honesty. So, all right, I say that to say, you're upset. He's out there living his best life, running the roads of this, this fake world or whatever. How did you get connected? How did you get caught up in this thing?
So when he first started playing, when we do anything, we are all in. We're super obsessed. It's who we are as people. We're just 10,000%. So, he comes home, he plays it all the time. we can only talk about whatever is interesting to us 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing about all these people. It makes no sense to me. He's like, to hear him say he is role playing online was just wild to me. Like, it was just the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
He would try to explain what all this is, and like, I couldn't grasp it. It couldn't make sense to me. And I would just listen. And I was like, okay. And then he said, would you please just try it? And at this point, we weren't happy. We were really upset about the game. He wanted to play. I didn't want him to play. I didn't get it. He's really passionate about something and we can't connect over it.
Yeah.
And so I just said, I'm willing to try. I'm willing to go into this with you. And so, at first, I wasn't a huge fan. Like, the very first time I played, I wasn't a fan. But very soon after, we went in and we met Lane and Rachel and we met all these wonderful people. And I fell in love with it. And honestly, I would say by the end of it, I loved it more than he loved it.
Yeah.
It's an everyday thing for us. As soon as the kids are in bed, we're in the city. Just 10,000%.
Yeah, that's very cool. What kind of, I think for Eric, I can really relate because we're dudes and, it's fun, it's new, that kind of thing. But my wife did the same thing. My wife was like, even now, because she doesn't play it, she's like, I don't understand that. What do you mean you got to go to a meeting for a video game? Like, she's like, you're on a meeting for a video game? You're talking to people, so it's like this weird thing. What kind of drew you in? Like you said, at first you didn't like it, but then, and now you're like, I'm really digging this. What kind of got you connected?
I honestly think that it was watching streamers. So we would lay in bed and like the only part I could really connect with was when he would show me other people's streams.
Okay.
So I remember one of the very first times that I was super interested. We watched Messer get kidnapped.
Okay.
And Wang went to hell, but it was one of the funniest things I've
Yeah.
ever seen in my life. And of course, like, they're my first inspirations for the game, so I always so admired them.
Right.
I watched more. I would start to watch Messer, and before I even played, I would just start to watch him and hear him talk about. He had some sort of, I think it was his interview with you,
Yeah.
and I don't remember if I was in the city at that point or not, and he talked about bridging the gap.
Yeah.
And he talked about how that was important to him and growing up, how, what police meant to him. And it was just like that really pulled me into the city, and it really made me realize that it's bigger than just a game.
Yeah. Yeah. And I say that a lot. We talk about that a lot, but it really is. And people that come in don't know that. The game is always just an entryway. But when you get in and you really start to meet people, talk to people, hear the message, you realize, man, it is something different. And for me, if I never played GTA again and I never flew in the city again, I would still want to be a part of the community and support the community because that's a message that I support. I want to bridge the gap. I want to be a part of that, and whatever that looks like, whatever part that I can play in that, I want to do that. And so that's really cool. So so you're getting in, Eric. You're like, Stacie's getting in there. What's it like getting in the city? Because when you're a dude, you're out there, you're just running wild. You know what I mean? It's like you're just out there living your best life. Like when Stacie gets in, does that change how you play? Does it make it better? Are you like concerned now? Like how does that dynamic affect your in-game experience?
So like 100%, it changes the way I play because like when I'm in by myself, I'll do my thing. Like I'll go and if I want to be if I want to do motorcycle patrol, I'll jump on a bike. If I want to go do my wildlife stuff, I'll go do my wildlife stuff. But we try to make it a point to where when we fly in, we're like, okay, who are you flying in as? And we'll try so since we've both got characters that are in the same that do the same thing, we might fly in. We usually fly in together.
Yeah.
And now sometimes we may split up when we're in the city, but we're always like we try to do stuff together.
Yeah.
And like so it really did change the way we did it. But it's fun because one thing I love about it is like one thing when you're new to the city and sometimes even when you've been in the city for like you fly in and you're like, well, where's everybody at? You got to go track everybody down. I know that I've got somebody to RP with.
Yeah.
So even if it's just, you know, me and Stacie running around, doing whatever, just running around trying to find people, I've got somebody sitting in the car next to me and we're just having fun and
Yeah.
causing trouble or, you know, running patrol or whatever.
Okay.
And it's funny what you said because you said you were talking about the meetings. And I always thought that was funny because she used to be like, what do you mean? Because when I first joined, that was what frustrated her. I was like, babe, like I'm gonna spend less time in the city, but right now, like I'm trying to get hired on with the LSPD, and so like
Yes.
I've really got to prove myself. And then I get hired on. I'm like, all right, I got hired on. Now I've got to prove myself and get through training. And then I get through training. I'm like, I just got through training. Like I've got there's always something that's like so important. And
Yeah.
she'd be like, what do you mean you've got a meeting? Like I don't understand. You've got meetings.
Yes.
And it still gets me sometimes because it'll be like, Judo will be like, hey, guys, we've got a mandatory meeting Sunday. And I was like, mandatory? I don't get paid enough for that.
Like, what are you talking about?
It's the, like, and it like, we're always in. So we show it, but it's like, if you tell me like, hey guys, we want to chat with everybody in VC tonight, like I'll be there.
Yeah.
But it's like something about I don't know if it's maybe like that defiant part of me that's like when
Yeah.
you put the word mandatory in there, I'm like, psh,
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm
I'm
out.
going to get ice cream.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm out, bro. I'm out. Yeah. That is an interesting part. Because that's something that I've never done before. Like I've never had to have a meeting about a game that I was playing, and for Christy, it's still very foreign. Because I'll be like, and anybody that plays, you'll be like, you're in a group, and they're like, we need to chat about something, and she's like, what do you got to chat about? Like you just go in and play it. I'm like, yeah, but something changes, or you got to do things a certain way, and they want you to, they're trying to help you. You got to learn something new or help somebody. And she's like, that's weird. That's just weird. All right, Stacie. So you get in. Talk about the RP part. And this was something that you kind of brought up when we were talking about this was the process of learning RP, because I'm like you guys. I had never RP'd. I've seen it and I thought it was really cool, but I'd never done it. And it is a learning process. What was that like for you? What is that process like for you walking through the learning of that?
So I think it has drastically changed from the beginning to now. I came in around June, and really in the beginning, you don't get it. And it's really difficult to like wrap your head around. I didn't know how to play the game. I don't really play games with cars, so I couldn't drive. I just couldn't do anything. And
You
so
can't drive RL, so
that's
that's not
fair.
it's not a game thing.
But like I was I was really scared to talk to people in the city. So, we're in a gang. It feels, emotions were really high for me because it felt so real. It felt so, I felt like I was actually in danger if I was in danger. I remember like being a woman and being alone in a city feels dangerous just
Sure.
in general.
Yeah.
And so like I would go to the airport and I remember thinking, I shouldn't be here alone. Like this is a dangerous thing to do. And I was like, it's just a video game. It is just a video game. You're not in danger.
Yeah.
But in the beginning you're just so focused on that I really had no RP. It was trying to figure things out. And so then I got so involved in personal relationships, like developing a gang and the relationships in that. That's still not RP. I still was just it was just focusing on a game.
Right.
And then I went into SAFR, and we don't have relationships in the city. Like that's just something that we've decided we don't do. And then as RP one day, Rita and Mike are with Sandy.
Okay.
and they suggest that Sandy should marry Mike.
Okay. So, all right. So I get a message right, like almost right before we go on, and say you need to ask how Sandy and Mike got married. So tell this story. Talk about this.
Yes. So, they are such a hoot. I mean, when they ride with me, it was. I mean, somebody stole a fire truck. I mean, it is wild.
Yeah.
Just wild. We have a great time. But so they're riding, and Rita says something about like Mike and Sandy should get married. Sandy, will you marry him? And like, I'm aware that this is live. Like, there are people watching this answer.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, I don't really know what to do. And I said yes because I was like, it doesn't really matter. It's not really, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And we keep going and going, and they're like, well, let's plan it. It's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be like 3 days from now. It's going to be, all these other things. And they did afterwards. They messaged me and said, are you really willing to do this? You don't have to do this, just so you know. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay. Developed great relationships with them through this whole process.
Right.
But the wedding and just that entire scene was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. People went above and beyond for me. We flew off in a helicopter. We went to an island. We had a reception. They got me a diamond ring. I mean, it was one of the most incredible times in the city. Just to see, Cuffham was there and all the people that mean so much to us were there. And I was like, it was just, I was nervous. I was nervous that day.
Yeah. That's fun. That's fun. And I feel the same way is you do. I think the way you describe that is great. You do get in, you try to figure it out, and then you build relationships. But just because you have a friend isn't RP. RP is situational. It's situations that are created and developed, and sometimes they're organically created. Sometimes they are purposely, created. And then you just kind of you play those out. How does that conversation go? How does that role go? I think one of the greatest things I ever learned was actually in a conversation I was having with Hammer, and Hammer to me is one of the best. We have tons of great RPs. Hammer's right up there. I mean, he's one of the best that is in our community. And I remember he said he made this statement. He said, "Man," he said, "every time you get in the city, just try to do one more thing with your character. Just develop him one more way. Like, what's one more thing that can grow from what you did the last time?" And it just kind of, you start thinking differently. It does change the way that you do that. Speaking of good RP, what makes good RP? Eric, for you, like, man, when you get in the city, bro, what are you thinking? I want to have good RP. Everybody wants to do that, but like, how are you carrying that out? What does that look like for you?
So to be honest with you, we started talking. Me and Stacie were talking about this in preparation for this interview, and until then, like, I wasn't sure. I don't know that I have had great RP.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, just like and Stacie brought this to my attention. I have focused for however many months I've been in the city. I have been focused on creating these characters, but each one of these characters, I have two characters, two main characters, and each one of them is like an extension of myself.
Yeah.
I've got my cop character that is basically the extension of myself. That I've always wanted to be a cop.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to our cops. I can't afford to go to be a cop. That you guys just aren't. You're underappreciated. You're underpaid. And
Yeah.
dude, shout out. But so like that has kind of like, I guess part of that has like filled that spot that I've always wanted to do. So I get to like play that out in the city. And then like even my crim character is less focused on being a crim and more focused on being an entrepreneur, because in my IRL, I'm always thinking of how to build something, how to grow something, how to make something better
Yeah.
and bigger. And so like I've never actually created that RP of like role playing something other than like who I really am. And so like we were talking about that yesterday. We were like, what if we just had characters that we could just go and do other things? Like Hammer's one of the best examples out there, in my opinion. And he's got all these characters, and they're all extremely unique. I
Yeah.
mean, Stacie fangirls like crazy over those guys,
Yeah.
and I do too. Um,
Same.
but like they just have this imagination, and so like I want to work on giving way to my imagination to create, to kind of maybe extend my current characters and maybe even build a new character that
Yeah.
just gets to go out there and be creative and have fun.
You know, the thing I like, and we keep mentioning Hammer, but it is a lot of that is because he is so good and he is so innovative with the kind of characters that he portrays in the city. The other day I was watching his stream and he was doing a cash cab. Man, I was like, that's genius. That is a genius idea. And he was riding people around and they were answering questions and he was the cash cab. And he was like just picking random people up, be like, hey, I'll give you $1,000, ride around and answer these 3 trivia questions. It was great. It was innovative. It was fun to watch. It was very cool. That's RP. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times people like, they'll fly in and be like, okay, what can I rob today? Who can I kidnap today? And that can be RP, but there's so much more. Cash cab, all these different things, these different scenarios. What is it that your mind can create that you can figure out a way to translate in the city? That is where good RP comes in. And I feel like I'm more like you, man. I feel like I have characters. My Leo character is definitely an extension of who I am. Now I do have another character that I started with, Guy, that's probably, a little bit different, but I don't pull him yeah, a little bit. I don't pull him out a whole ton anymore, not since I started, some other characters and stuff. But that is it's an opportunity. It is an opportunity to do things that are really cool, that enhance the city, and to have a really good time, a really good experience for you and for other people. Stacie, like for you, when you see that, when you're watching, and I know you said y'all fangirl, I do too. I do that as well. When you're watching good RP, like what is it that you're seeing that's sort of like this is good role play right here? What is there anything specific that stands out, like when you identify for you what that looks like?
Well, what sparked this whole conversation was I missed the interview and just went back and watched with you and Mason.
Yeah.
And you all had such good conversation about RP. And I heard you when you said developing a character. And I had already kind of been thinking I would like to have some sort of crim character that had some sort of fun interaction with a cop that isn't like a drunk girl.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the go-to. It's kind of, whatever. But I was like, you watch these people that have something so authentic. And I think I have a good opportunity to do that because being a woman in the city, there's not that many women in the city.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's an opportunity to be original with that. But I was like, I really just want to have a longer story to developing these characters over time. I don't have to be a streamer in order to make this, a good developing storyline.
That's great. That's a great point. I'm so glad
Yeah.
you said that. Is a lot of times people get the misconception that you have to be a streamer to be able to have good RP, and RP should be for you, not it should be for your experience and the people around you, not for an audience. And that should really kind of be the heart of getting in is, there is a phase where you're learning. There is a phase where you're figuring stuff out. There is a phase where you're making relationships. I think that's all true, but there is a phase there is a step you got to take to say, okay, I want to do something better. I want to do something more. And I think the way you laid that out a second ago was really good. Talk about, you brought this up. And Eric, I want to come out to you here in a second because I got something I want to discuss with you about LSPD in just a second. But before we get to that, Stacie, you mentioned being a woman in the city, and it is very true. It is a very male dominant environment. What is that like? Talk about that. I know there's a ladies of tarp tag, and there are several ladies, and they do a really great job. But talk about your experience being a lady inside of the community. What's that like? What's good? What are the challenges?
So I think that obviously women stand out because there are so many men to women.
Sure.
I know that generally when you go anywhere, there's going to be a ton of men and there's only going to be a few women. I think that it's been beneficial for me to get to know people in the city. You're different, you're new, whatever that means. It's given me an opportunity. I think it makes you more memorable because it's more memorable because you're a woman. It's more memorable because you're different. Um, I haven't had a lot of negative experiences. I don't feel like you have a disadvantage, especially in like Discord, that kind of community, TARP as a whole. I don't feel like you. I feel like they're so supportive. Every time I see a woman in the city, we're always like, "Oh, let me get your number." Yay for another woman in the city.
Yeah.
We really try to connect. It just feels different than in the real world. Nobody's out to get you.
Yeah.
We just all support each other so much. We all want to help each other. People are like, "Hey, if you're having a problem, like let's fix it. Whether you're a woman or whether you're not." That it feels really fair. It feels really even. And it's been really good.
Awesome. So I think there's a lingering question that every guy would want to know is, what do you talk about in the Ladies of Tarp chat inside of Discord? Like give us the deets. So what is the information that we need to know about those conversations that are happening? Because obviously we're not a part of any of those. So just go ahead and spill the beans. Give us all the deets on that.
Literally everything.
No,
Literally, it's like how to put on eyelashes one day. It's how's your
That's
dog today.
No, that's good. It is
Everything.
good, and it's good to have those kind of places where you can go and chat, and that's a good thing. And I'm glad it's a good experience. Obviously, I'm not a lady, and so I don't get that. But I think that's it is good that it's a safe place and it's a protected place, and our administrators have worked really hard to create that. And I remember that one being one of the first things I noticed across the board. Ladies, topics of, any topic that could be, or any scenario that could be degrading or hurtful, they're really protective of all those things. And so I'm appreciative of that. All right, Eric. So I wanted to bring this up. So how you and I met was in LSPD. And I don't want to take all the credit for your success, but I will say this. I was your FTO when you came into LSPD. I trained you ish. I don't know if you remember that conversation that we had. If trained ish is okay. And all the things that basically set you on a good path to success, I feel like I was able to establish those for you. Do you have anything you want to say about that? Just anything at all?
Since you asked. So, yeah, I mean, shout out to teaching me all the things that I needed to know about being a cop. On day one, you made me buy your gas because you didn't have enough money to buy gas in the patrol car.
So true. That's so true.
We were in the time as your cadet. We were never once first on scene for anything. So I was out of FCO status. I was actually a fully sworn officer before I ever wrote my first report.
Yes. Yes.
Legitimate report. Besides the ones that we wrote up for the state patrol. Those guys.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you really showed me something.
Yeah. No, in all honesty, man, we had a lot of fun, and I loved that opportunity that we had because that's genuinely how we met. We didn't know each other before that. I don't even think you were originally assigned to me. I think something happened, and then I don't really know what happened, but we got together, and it was just I felt like we clicked, we bonded, and we had a really good time. I genuinely did not teach you anything. I have a bunch of some of my favorite TikTok videos I ever made were of me and you together, and I'm doing like I'm wrecking the car, I'm messing stuff up, and you're making like smart aleck comments in the background about something that I'm doing, and it was always a lot of fun. I always had a blast.
So the way you became my FTO, I'll let you in on this. They never told you this. So they got all the cadets together. They were short on FTOs, so we drew straws. Mine was the shortest.
Yeah. Well,
So I drew the short straw. So
that doesn't surprise me at all. That doesn't surprise me at all. My favorite, I think, right in the middle of that, for some reason, I don't really know why, but I think they promoted me to a sergeant. You remember that? You remember that night? It was like right after I was promoted to a sergeant, and I think I got shot. We wrecked the car. It was like it was like the biggest disaster. And I kept saying, and that's why they promoted me to sergeant. And you were like, okay, I'll write that down.
yeah, that was. I'm pretty sure there was just no sergeants, and they had to move somebody into there.
That is exactly what it was.
Because there's you and Gench got promoted, I think, right after you did.
Yes.
And ever since then, the only time I ever saw him was when he was sitting in a patrol vehicle in the MRPD parking lot. I don't think he's moved from there since.
He hasn't. If you flew in right now, he'd be sitting right there, like legit, not even just sitting there.
And he still doesn't know the difference between 1041, 10.7, and 1042, 10.8.
Yeah. Well, they're all numbers. They all mean something at some point. It's just you throw one out and hopefully it makes sense. If it doesn't, no well. We'll just figure it out. Gaker said, he's in the chat. He said, I'm here.
He's 10.8.
Yeah. He's 10.7.
Or 10.7, however
he went 10.41, 10.42. That's what he did. He's all of them. He's all of them. I'm all of them. No, but I did. I was glad. And then, you and I've been able to keep in touch, through Discord chats and that kind of stuff. So, man, I've always enjoyed our chats and conversations. And so, let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about some fun memories that you guys have had. So I'm sure you guys have fun memories together. I'm sure there's individual ones. Like for you, what are some of the things that really stand out? Like, are there stories and things that really stand out for you that you crack up about, or maybe y'all talk about? You're like, hey, you remember when this happened? What are some of those stories?
Let me go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the first time I met Cuffham,
okay,
who is now a dear, dear friend of ours.
Yeah.
I remember us talking about that we were going to meet him that night. He was in a gang that we were in. So he was flying in Crim. He was not flying in as Cuffham. And so we end up going to this house and celebrating and robbing a bank. This is the first time I have ever robbed a bank. I was very uncomfortable with being a Crim anyways. I was like, this is wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah. This is really difficult. Well, they walk up and I said, I'll be the one that negotiates. It's going to be fine. And they said, hey, what's your name? And I told them my actual name.
Yeah.
We then, he's our getaway driver. We wreck. We get in the car and Cuffham is just hilarious. Like, it's the fun. He's like, okay, so what happened here tonight? He said, well, it all started when I was 8 years old and went on. It was just one of the funniest. I'm dying. The whole time, I'm just absolutely dying. But that was one of my favorites.
That's fun. That's funny. When Cuffham is involved, it makes that scene so much more fun. And he's always a hoot to be around anyway. He's just so good. He's just so quick and reactive to whatever is happening, and he just does a really good job with that. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Eric, what about you, man? Other than all of our times together, what were some of your favorites?
Every single one of our times. The times we were trying to figure out how to rappel out of the helicopter. How many times did we fall out?
Oh, God,
I would say probably. So the first day I was in the city, I met with Rachel Richardson and Lane Savage. So we're cruising down through Polito, and if anybody's ever rode with Rachel, you've gone through Rachel's windshield. So I fly through the windshield because I was new to the city. I wasn't accustomed to buckling up yet.
Yeah.
I hadn't received that stern warning from all of our friendly EMS personnel.
Yeah, yeah.
So I fly through the windshield. Of course, I'm laying there on the sidewalk dead, and like I'm used to like games where I'm like, I'm just gonna have to wait. I'm gonna have to respawn. I'm gonna have to wait for somebody to come get me. We're in the middle of nowhere, but no, they just like stand there. Lane sat down and like ran his fingers through my hair until EMS got there, and like it was fun. And so my last, then the second one was my last stop as an LSPD cop.
Okay.
This is nobody's ever heard about this. A sworn to secrecy. So it was a bank robbery, and I pull it. No, it was a 24/7 robbery. I pull up and I see Bofa, and I believe it was Cinnamon,
Yeah.
and they're taking off in his little sports car, and I'm pretty sure I'm in my Crown Vic. I kept up with them in my Crown Vic, and they went to the power plant. Well, they stop. I think they stopped finally, but I mean, this was a long pursuit, and so I do a code 5 stop. I get out. Well, somebody I think spilt something on my mouse. So as soon as I get out with my gun drawn, I start shooting everybody. And so it was so bad. It was luckily I didn't kill anybody. I did disable his vehicle. So I walked up to him. I handed him a repair kit. I got back in my car and I drove away. I said, "You keep whatever you got from the store. We never speak about this again."
Oh my
It did not happen. So,
so funny.
that stuff, man. And then last week when I went out with Nathan in SASP, and we tried to learn how to use scuba gear, and so he died, or I died. Then he jumped in to save me, and he died.
Yeah.
And we all died. It was so bad. Everybody died. So we're still trying to figure out if somebody's drowning, don't call wildlife.
Okay.
We're not the guys for the job.
You're
So
not the answer, huh?
we're not the guys for the job.
Okay.
We can fly overhead, but now there's just
So
it's hard to pick a fun memory because there's so many. Every time you fly in, you're creating really awesome memories.
So, from what I'm hearing, is you're going to actually start an RP situation where you're teaching scuba diving lessons. Is that what I'm hearing is happening really soon?
So I could teach scuba diving lessons just about as quick as Ricky can teach skydiving lessons. So Ricky took us up in a helicopter. We were doing some Black Ops missions. Nobody really knows what we were doing. Pretty sure we created scenes, and then we responded to those scenes where people were filing reports about us. And so we flew up. It was right before a tsunami, right before restart. So he was like, "Hey, we're gonna fly up here. We're gonna get really high, and we're all gonna jump out." Well, we all jumped out, and I'm 90% sure that me and Ricky are the only ones that actually had a parachute on when we jumped. And so Stacie died. I forget who else was with us. Was it
Trav?
I don't even remember. But yeah, there was 4 of us in the helicopter. 2 of them died, and it was don't go in a helicopter with Ricky because
it was Tank.
It was Tank. Yeah, Tank. Which anybody that knows Tank saw that coming. Pretty sure he put on a poncho and jumped out, hoping it would help. So don't get in a helicopter with Ricky because there's just no coming back from it.
Yeah. Not gonna make it back out of that. That's so fun. If that's those are the moments that you laugh about and you love and the memories that you create, and it is a lot of fun.
That's a tiny story.
Yeah, go for it.
The first time that I was driving through the city and Wayne got out of Messer's car and washed my car, I thought I would literally die. I thought I would It was the best thing that ever happened.
Were you like, man, this is like superstar status right here?
I gave him $10,000.
Yes.
He said, big money.
Big money. I ran into Wayne the other day, and I was like, man, I was like, you're a celebrity.
Yeah.
I'm like, sign something for me.
And now I see him all the time. I'm like, you're not getting $10,000 again.
That's funny. I love it. Hey, what questions do you guys have for? What questions do you have for these guys, man? What do y'all want to know? What would you like to hear about? I think we've had some really great. I've loved the conversation we've had about, the relationships and being married in the city and the challenges that and all of the RP conversation. What do y'all want to hear about? Ricky said he's an amazing pilot, just jumped way too fast. What do you?
On second thought, Ricky is a fairly decent pilot. He's a lucky pilot. I'm pretty sure. Now, come to think of it, when I'm rethinking the situation, I'm pretty sure Tank was wearing a parachute, but when Tank jumped, Ricky banked hard left and caught him with the rotors. So Tank didn't stand a chance. He may have had the best parachute, but all it was doing was dropping a dead body on the ground, or part of that body.
Now, speaking of helicopters, you actually have some experience as a certified helicopter, being on the air unit with LSPD. Fun fact, though, I don't think you ever learned how to fly the helicopter, did you?
So I have now.
Okay.
So back when we were trying to learn, like when we were doing the skydiving thing, all I could do was go straight up and straight down. So I went out and bought a controller because everybody said like that's how to fly.
Yeah.
So I got a controller. I can't fly with a controller, but I have become pretty good at flying mouse and keyboard.
Okay. And I was always impressed that you drove mouse and keyboard. That's always been impressive to me.
I still do. The only issue I have with now, if I'm driving slow, like if I'm just putting around city driving slow, I'll grab my controller because I can throttle up and brake steady.
Okay.
However, if I'm in a pursuit, I'm on keyboard and mouse because I can use my mouse and I can look left and right. I can clear intersections and I can look for where the person is a lot quicker than I can with a controller joystick.
Stacie, are you a keyboard and mouse player? Are you a controller player?
Well, once I started as a Leo, everything had to change for me because I'm already not a good driver. I'm not good at multitasking. It was really, really hard. So all at once, I took the pedals that I gave him for Father's Day.
Yeah.
Which he consented to. He consented. He wasn't using them. And I got a controller and I made the whole switch. And then I'm like in FTO training, trying to figure out how to use the controller, how to use my pedals, and how to be a Leo all at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was tough, but I will never go back.
Yeah.
Never go back. Controller is the only way to go.
Yeah, I got you. I do both. I try to, when I'm driving, I try to use a controller, and the rest of the time, I try to use keyboard and mouse.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Just because I think it's the other day my controller actually came out. It dropped and fell on the ground and unplugged, and when I plugged it back in, it wouldn't reconnect, and so I was actually, I think, training somebody, and I was having to drive with the keyboard, and I was terrible at it. Like I couldn't. Yeah, it was the worst. Let's see. FFG Meyer says, I love to see faces to some of my favorite people in the city. I love working with Kimberly in the fire EMS. Many fun moments. What do you like, Stacie? What do you like best? So, you've got a Leo character. You've got a SAFR character. What do you like? Like, what's your go-to? Like, what's your favorite?
I think every time I try something new, it's just so exciting that everybody has always told me, don't let one go. Don't let one go because you're always going to want something to fall back on.
Yeah.
So, I think that there's benefits to all of them. I really wouldn't want to do any of them by themselves. I love being a Leo. I love being SAFR. But also, I love having a Crim character because you can kind of relax. You have to be good in those. You have to follow the rules in those. And so I like just having somewhere where I can go when I don't want to be good. I don't want to follow the rules.
Yeah.
And just explore each side of that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
I
like
absolutely had to pick at the moment. Leo's my favorite.
Okay.
But I love you all.
Yeah. I like it.
She did just get it. She did apply for Canine Division
Okay.
for the sole fact that she wanted a puppy,
I do.
Yeah.
and so she got accepted to Canine. So you'll see. What is your Leo character's name?
Scarlet.
Scarlett Jackson. You'll see Trooper Jackson rolling around with a Canine here pretty soon.
I thought it would depthen my character.
Yeah.
It would add something to that.
Does your canine have a name yet?
I literally just got the acceptance a few hours ago.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So when you meet your dog, what do you think some legit name options could be? Like, would you go with like Fido, Rover? Or
well, maybe we should ask the chat. Maybe they should name my dog.
I like it. Chat, do you have an idea of what Trooper Scarlett's name should, her canine unit should be? Any ideas? Like, Ricky said Derek. Is that I like that. If it's
anybody besides Ricky, anybody,
anybody whatsoever.
Josh.
Said Josh.
What a name is Josh?
Josh is the name for a dog.
Actually, I like that for a dog name. You're like, come on, Josh.
Josh.
Yeah, no, that's good. Steve, something like that. Something like that would be great. Name it
Zach.
after your favorite SAFR person. Zach. Okay. Franklin.
I'm liking Zach, Franklin.
Chance. All right. Southern Duck says Chance. Douglas.
What are you doing?
That's my dad's name, Lane. She's gonna name it after her father-in-law.
Hey.
Maybe I will.
I think you should go with something like Fido. Just something like very generic. That. Rover. You know.
Yeah.
Eric. I don't know. Just something. Like, just throw it out.
Eric is a very strong masculine name. I will say that. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like, it would show dominance. It would give the dog confidence if it was named Eric.
For sure.
Spot.
For sure.
That's better.
Spot?
That's better.
Yeah, Spot. Something like that. America.
America.
So one thing I will say, if anybody in here sees Matthias Mason, Mother Fluffer running around, ask him why he's putting. So he did a /me command at the one of the car shows, and he was upset about something. He was RP. He was mad, and so he did a /me. He was trying to say pouting, but he misspelled it. So now we always ask him why he's putting, and he gets so mad about it. And it is so funny. So if you see him in city, ask him why he's putting. And see.
You're welcome.
See how he does. You're welcome.
Hey, Roy says Max. I like Max. Mm-hmm. Max is a good name. Messy. Tribute.
I like that.
That would be a good tribute. Messy would be a good tribute.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. That's good. Mac. Yeah, all of these are great names.
You pick all of our names. He just went through all of our closest group.
Nice. Yeah, just whoever. Just whoever. We're good.
Can somebody remove Ricky from this thing?
Well, hey, let's do this. Eric, I know that it's past your bedtime, and we gotta get you ready for bed and stuff. Tell me, kind of as we close out our conversation, talk about, for you guys, I'll let you each do it. Each have an opportunity. But just kind of talk about what the city means for you, the opportunity that you have, and maybe something that you would tell someone that was looking for, a RP community or something to be a part of. What would you tell them about this community? Stacie, I'll let you go first.
She always gets to go first.
Well,
go ahead.
She's the lady. Ladies first.
So, I have played in a couple of different cities, and I do think that this is just the place that feels like home for us.
Okay.
It has been very accessible for us. There's just been so many admins, moderators, people who are willing to help you. You go through mentorship, you go through, all these different things. They just make it accessible for you. If there's a problem in the game, they make it accessible for you. I think the community as a whole is so welcoming and inviting. And I just think that if you're going to try to find a community, it's just the best place you could find.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Very well said. Eric, what you think, brother? Yeah, hit your button. There you go.
There you go. I initially started playing this game because it was a game, and it has become so much more than a game. The people in this city, the people of Tarp, they're family. I've made some of the greatest friends that I could ever imagine in this game. The people that in both of my characters. I mean, some my initial my like close friends were, you know, like Cuffham, Mason, Lane, Allie, Mac. Uh, I mean, you name it. Nixon before he was Nixon, when he was Dylan. You know, me and him, like we were close, and even people that aren't in the city anymore, like still close with them. You know, over in the on the other side, on the cop side. I mean, all those people over there. Nathan, he and I have become super close. We spend a lot of time together in VC, coming up with things. These are people. The people that I work with in this city are people that I legitimately consider family,
Yeah.
and I would give the shirt off my back. Not this one because we're playing tomorrow,
Yeah.
but
Another one.
I would drop what I was doing and go to help somebody. These people in the city, because like some of the best friends that I have are in the city, and I've never met them before. Some of them I have no clue where they live, what they look like, what their real name is, but we're just so close. I know that I can jump into any one of these groups, and if I've got an issue, I can say, "Hey, I need to talk. Let's jump into VC." And within 30 seconds, I'm gonna have somebody in VC that's ready to talk to me and see what's up. And you know, we've had lunch with people in the city. We had lunch with Corey Thacker.
Yeah.
So like we went up, met him up in Kentucky. We've got a house up there, family house. So we went up there and had lunch with him, and uh, B Hawk was up there, so like we stopped and had lunch and hung out with them for a bit, and it was really cool. T Money was used to be in the city. Like he actually turns out it was funny how it worked out because we started hanging out in the city. We were in the same gang together, and then he found out we were from Tennessee, and it turns out like his best friend had bought a car from me like 3 days earlier.
Oh wow.
And so now this dude like stops into my work and sees me, and
That's cool.
just so like it's a community, but it's so spread out all over the world. I mean, we've got you know people that play in other countries. We've got from Alice is from out of the country. I mean,
Yeah.
she's probably one of the coolest people you'll meet in the game. She's crazy. I mean, she's
Yeah.
ludicrous crazy, but she's so much fun to RP with, and but these people all over the country. Ricky's on the far side of the country, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't go. He's one I probably wouldn't drop everything I was doing to come out there and help him just because I can't afford the gas. But I'll send him something in the mail.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what this city is all about: is creating these relationships. And like you were talking about earlier, if I left the city today, I would still want to be in the Discord. Some of the best times I've had have been in VC, playing games with people from the city, like just goofing off, having family game nights. Like we call it family game night, just because we're family.
Yeah.
So that's what it's been to me. It's become much more than a game. This is a family of friends.
Yeah.
I love you, Ricky. I would come to see you, Ricky, but you're gonna have to buy the ticket.
Oh man, that's good, man. That's so cool. And man, I think I've loved this conversation. Thank y'all so much for jumping in here with me.
Thank
and
you.
I've had an absolute blast. I appreciate your just your authenticity and telling great stories and perspectives. And Stacie, thank you for preparing. Eric, thank you for just showing up. I appreciate that you just made it. You know what I mean? There was some concern there for a minute. Me and Stacie were just sitting here waiting on you to get in here, but you finally got on, so I appreciate that.
It's coming from the guy that said, "I'm going to send you a list of questions in the morning." And at 3 o'clock, Stacey's like, "Did he send you questions?"
Yeah. I wanted y'all to find them. It was.
He woke up late.
Yeah, I woke up late. I did. Woo! But I am feeling great, and I'll be ready to go. You know, I'll be up the rest of the night, so we're good. No,
I forgot you work in church. You guys are off on Friday, aren't you?
yeah. We don't do anything. We don't really do anything anytime. We just hang out and stuff.
That's a fact.
Yeah, facts. Man, hey, I love you, brother. Man, I generally enjoyed the conversation. Stacie, thank you so much for jumping in here. Man, I absolutely loved it. And, man, I look forward to seeing you guys in the city soon.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Okay. All right. Y'all have a great night, guys.
All
Thank
right.
y'all.
See you guys.
Okay. Bye.